The majesty of the world's alpine ranges and the unique creatures of those high countries have gripped the adventurous since the very first reports of them began filtering back to civilization. Grand mountain ranges epitomize freedom and fortitude, which, then and now, is the living spirit of the mountain hunter. Certainly the truest vision of the world's unspoiled apex is the male wild sheep. The wild ram embodies the pomp, the regal dignity, and the splendor of the high country like no other animal. He is the intriguing monarch of the mountaintops, a superstar among a hunting culture that celebrates his existence and longs to hunt him even though he is always another 4-hour climb away. As Theodore Roosevelt once wrote, he is wary. Great skill and caution must be shown in approaching him, and no one but a good climber with a steady head, sound lungs, and trained muscles can successfully hunt him in his own rugged fastness. Whether it's sheep or sheep country, somewhere along the way, our fascination and appreciation for both has led us to conservation and stewardship. This is the itch we cannot scratch. The simple truth in today's world is, hunters put and keep sheep on the mountain. Without the monies and the aggressive observation-based input, the love of sheep by sheep hunters, the presently steady course of the wild sheep's existence on Earth will unquestionably be compromised. It is for all these reasons and more that the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame exists. As the highest honor the Wild Sheep Foundation bestows, being an accomplished mountain hunter is only an entry-level checkmark on a long list of eligibility criteria. Hall of Fame inductees are therefore more than just sheep hunters. They personify the highest standards of a land, wildlife, and hunting ethic. They are a shining example to their peers within and outside the hunting community, and they have given back in time, passion, leadership, and resources to wild sheep, conservation, and the mission of the Wild Sheep Foundation itself. The lure of sheep country has claimed many souls. One such soul was Jack O'Connor, whose writing prose about the grand sheep hunt drew man to mountain like a magnet. He once wrote, "The sheep hunter is willing to climb until his lungs are bursting, to walk until his legs are dead and weary, to grow hungry and thirsty for great rewards. There is no halfway." The rewards of our Ironman sport are many, but none is greater than induction into the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame. Recognition and awards are what we give to individuals. Ensuring that our wild sheep receive the necessary management and protection befitting of mountain royalty is why we give. Welcome to the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame Award, Wild Sheep Foundation Director, Mr. Tony Caligiuri.
Okay, if you look on your program card, it says Alan Smith is presenting this award, but he had to leave early for a family matter that he needed to attend to. And I don't have as many sheep as Alan. I don't have his sense of fashion, but I do have better hair, so be sure and tell him that. How about Ram Layaway? As I was walking in, I just got another pledge from Mike and Julie DeAnda for $5,000. Thank you. This program's going to be one of the best things that ever happened to wild sheep. As you saw in the video, the Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame Award is the Wild Sheep Foundation's most prestigious award. Induction into the Hall of Fame recognizes a select few who are icons in the sheep hunting community. To be considered for an award, a nominee must not only be an accomplished mountain hunter, they must also have demonstrated the most highest ethical standards in the pursuit of wild sheep and goats around the world. They must have also given back in terms of time, talent, and treasure, conservation to the wild sheep. The inductees are voted on by members of the International Awards Committee and past award members. As you also saw in the video, since its inception, there's only been 12 hunters inducted into Wild Sheep Foundation's Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame. There's no limiting factor, but traditionally, the committee has only inducted one nominee per year. This year, we are breaking tradition by inducting 2 candidates into the Hall of Fame. Neither one has ever sought this award, and neither one would have ever accepted it without the other beside him. Their bond was that close. They both shared humble, bigger-than-life personalities that drove them to far parts of the world in sense of adventure. They didn't hunt for the record books or number of sheep, just to make that clear, but to also make clear they both are members of that magic more than 40 species club. They are both self-made businessmen, one raised in rural Iowa and one on the plains of Western Canada. Even as young boys, thousands of miles apart with common humble beginnings, there was adventure in their hearts, and it kept hold on them like frost on a high plains cattail swamp on a cold winter day. As they became financially successful, one in the oil fields in northern Canada and the other in pizza restaurants across the lower 48, they not only hunted sheep in North America, but they pioneered sheep hunting in faraway places like China, Mongolia, and the Middle East before it was fashionable to do so. They both loved the giant swooping horns of argallis and hunted them at a time 40 years ago when that was an adventure that most of us will never, ever experience. Tonight's ceremony is a bittersweet one, as even though we honor both of these very deserving hunters, sadly, only one will be on stage to accept this award. Now, normally this award is presented with a lot of banter and humor between the presenters and the inductees, but tonight we again break tradition because in the battle of wits, I would not stand a chance with either one, so I'm simply not even going to try. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 inductees into the Wild Sheep Foundation's Mountain Hunter Hall of Fame are Ron Roderick and the late Ron Carey. Watching Billy walk up here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through the rest of this, but when I was elected to the Wild Sheep Board of Directors 5 years ago, it was Ron Carey's spot on the board as he rotated off. In this very room, he grabbed me with both hands by both shoulders, and he said, "Listen here, Tony, that's my spot on the board you're taking, so don't mess it up." But if you knew Ron, you know he didn't say mess it up. He said something a little more descriptive, but I'll leave it at that. Ron was an inspiration, a mentor to us all, a shining example of always doing the right thing and not letting ego or self-service get in the way. Sadly, in November of 2019, Ron was killed in a car accident while competing in a road rally in England. His wife, Billy, was seriously injured, but she's here tonight to accept Ron's award. Ron Roderick, one of his best friends and hunting partner, was on his way home from a hunt in Turkey when he heard the news of Ron's death, and he was devastated. And even though Ron Roderick is getting his own well-deserved induction tonight, I know that a part of Ron Carey's award will rest in his heart as well. I'm proud to say that I come from the same rural stock that gives both these men and hunters, Ron and Carey and Ron Roderick, the fortitude that they have to have hunted all of these years and been so successful. And I hope I've lived up to Ron Carey's expectations in his board spot. And I'm grateful that all of us have pioneers and truly remarkable men like Ron Roderick and Ron Carey to look up to. Wild Sheep family, please welcome Billy Carey and Ron Roderick.
Well, this old guy goes back a long way, and just give you a little bit of history of this award. Goes back to when we were FNAWS, Foundation for North American Wild Sheep, and ISHA, International Sheep Hunters Association. And when we joined as International Sheep Hunters Association, the North American Sheep Foundation became the Wild Sheep Foundation. Now this is for the young people that might not know, but that's where it all started. And the first guy that won the award was Chris Kleinberger. Chris was a great hunter, a great mountain hunter, and he did a lot more than that. Mongolia was in operation at that time, but the Soviet Union was not. Chris went to Russia and spent a lot of time on his own financially with no help, and literally, finally, through Intourist, opened up hunting in Russia, which was quite a crew at the time. And we got to hunt those beautiful, beautiful snow sheep of northeast Russia, which is fantastic, the tours. And it took a while to adjust for the other satellite countries, the old Soviet Union. And finally, slow but sure, because of Chris's pushing and drive, we got to open up the beautiful countries that hold the Argali sheep of the world: Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. And it opened up a whole new world for all of us sheep hunters. And I'm sure all of us will appreciate it, that the young people and people that hunt in the future. And this also led to other countries opening up to sheep hunting and mountain hunting. So Chris was a great influence, and we welcome him as the very first awardee to this award. So I know Chris is looking down on us now at this time, and I want to give a big toast to Chris for what all he's done. So thank you, Chris. I know you're looking down on us. And Ronnie Carey's a great buddy, and myself. We appreciate this award from the award group of the Sheep Convention. And we also thank the executive staff of this organization and our great leader, Gray Thornton, and that this award will go on to the people that will be soon coming up in perpetuity. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's so wonderful to look out and see all of you here tonight. Over the last 3 or 4 days, how many times have we heard the phrase, the Wild Sheep Foundation family? You've all been that for Ron and I for many years, and I appreciate it so much. I think about our friends, and when we're facing our darkest hour, all of you have been there for me and my family, recognizing the contributions of my husband, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts how much it meant to us to be loved and cared for by you. Also want to thank everyone for recognizing my husband not only as a great conservationist, a great sheep hunter, but a great husband, a great father, a great grandfather. And truly, I believe my husband was one of the greatest sheep hunters of all time. Thank you so much.